Okay, so hopefully you have gone through the parameter versus statistic PowerPoint already on Canvas and stopped at the margin of error section and have also already completed this packet here, or these pages of your packet. Now we're just going to go through this in this video, just reviewing the things. So our first thing here is going to be describing the difference between a parameter and a statistic. We talked about this yesterday in the slides in our lesson. So a parameter that is going to be a number that represents the population and then a statistic is going to be a number that represents the sample. So as we recall from yesterday, parameter, population, they both start with P, and then statistic and sample both start with S. So that's the difference between the two. And then again, a population is the whole group you're looking at, and then a sample is a subset of the population. So we're going to apply that here in these questions below. So number 2 here reads that the United States House of Representatives has 435 members when all positions are filled. Currently, there are 3 vacancies. Among the 432 positions that are currently filled, 56% are Republicans. So, do the data comprise a sample or a population? In this case, it is going to be a population. And that entire population is going to be all of the members of the House of Representatives. So, if that is going to be a population, then that means the study is going to represent a parameter. Because again, population starts with P, parameter also starts with P. So, for this set population that we have here, does our parameter ever change? So that's saying, will my numerical value that represents my population, will that ever change? So in this case, our parameter, it looks like it's going to be the 56% filled are Republicans. This will change if our population changes. So our population can change if we add more members to Congress, or if those positions get filled, or if some of the chairs in the House of Representatives flip. So we get more Republican, or even more Republicans, or even or more Democrats per se. Okay, so for the set population, does a parameter ever change? We can say yes if the population changes. Okay, so we can now move on to the next question. It says television station DKA wants to know the proportion of TV owners in Arkansas who watch the station's new program at least once a week. And the station asked a group of 1,000 TV owners in Arkansas if they watch the program at least once a week. So, in this one, do the data comprise a sample or a population? In this case, because they're asking a group of 1,000 TV owners in Arkansas, then it's going to be a sample. So that will be our sample here. And so question B relates to this, saying what is the underlying population? So what is that sample representing? That sample is going to represent all TV owners in Arkansas. And so the final question here is the proportion of viewers in the sample who watch the new program at least once a week a statistic or a parameter? Again, we have to go back to our definitions. Because of the fact that we are looking at a sample in this data set, sample means we're going to be looking at a statistic. So this will be a statistic. All right. So hopefully that helped clarify the difference between a sample, a statistic, and a population and a parameter. So now we're going to be identifying populations and the sample for each of the following three here. So a survey of 1,353 American households found 18% of that households own a computer. So for the sample, I am going to underline it. So my sample here for this first one is going to be the survey of the 1,353 American households. But what this sample is going to represent in our population is going to be all American households. Okay. In the next one, it says a recent survey of 2,625 elementary school children found that 28% of the children could be classified as obese. So again, this time our sample is going to be the survey of the 2,625 elementary school children. And that means my population is going to be all elementary school children. And then in our last one, it says the average weight of every sixth person entering the mall within a 3 hour period was 146 pounds. So our sample here is going to be the every sixth person who enters the mall within that 3 hour period. And then my population is going to be all mall shoppers. Okay, so now let's move on to the back page here. So we're going to be identifying the given either population or sample. So it says a beverage company wanted to see if people in the United States like their new logo, which choice best represents a population. So we're looking at the whole entire scope here of things. So if we're looking for the scope here of people in the United States, the population again is going to be every single person in the United States. So that's what they're looking at overall. We're not looking at just a selection of logo artists. We're not looking at just shoppers from different states or a subset of children aged 5 through 15. Okay, the next one, a musician wanted to see what people who bought his last album thought about his songs, which choice best represents a sample here. So we're not looking at every single person who bought the album here because that would be the whole entire population. So A would not be our answer choice here. It wouldn't make sense to look at people who didn't want to buy the album. And then we're down to now 250 girls who bought the album and a selection of 3,294 people who bought the album. Between the two, it'd be best to not just restrict ourselves just to girls in this case. We want to get a more broad sample here. So that means we're going to be looking at answer choice D, the 3,294 people who bought the album. Again, picking D would take away the potential biases that can exist in letter C. All right, number 7, a gaming website wanted to find out which console its visitors owned. Which choice best represents a population? So again, population, we're looking at finding out which consoles its visitors owned. So we're looking at the visitors of the website, and we see that is answer choice B. We're not looking at any type of specific console, as in the 3DS or PS4, or limiting to ourselves to just people who looked at it for 5 minutes. All right, next one we have before a nationwide election, a polling place was trying to see who could win or who would win. Which choice best represents a sample? So again, we're not trying to look at every single voter here, so D would not work. And then again, kind of like the one about the album question, we're not going to be restricting ourselves to only male voters this time or restricting ourselves to people over the age of 50. We want to get a good selection of voters, different ages, without having to ask every single voter. So C would be our answer choice for this one. And our last one says a toy store owner tracking how much kids spend each month on toys. Which choice best represents a population? So we're seeing how much kids spend each month on toys. So we are going to be looking at all of the kids who buy toys because again, a population, we're looking at our whole entire demographic here. So not just the rich kids, not just the kids from ages 7 to 15, and not just the kids ages 10 to 15. All right. If you've gotten this far in the video, thank you for watching. You guys are going to go ahead and watch the videos on the 5-number summary, which are also linked on the Canvas page, and then you're going to fill out Google Forms. Also, if you have actually watched the video and made it this far, I want you to go ahead and also send me an email saying that you watched the video to the end, and you are going to say that my cat's name is Pippa, Pippa, because if you're paying attention and watched the whole video actually, you probably heard her meowing at some point because she wants dinner. All right.